welcome back to another Loc Talk. Today I have my amazing client, Eleanor. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi, everybody. How are you today?
You guys, I'm so excited for this piece because this is a gem right here, okay? I don't know if she'll feel comfortable sharing her age, but if she does, I will know why. Every appointment, I look forward to it because it's a wealth of wisdom, okay? So much wisdom, and I love and enjoy my time with her. So, we're going to talk about her lock journey, but before we get into her lock journey, please tell me about your hair journey all throughout your experience with just hair, salons, and so forth.
Well, that's a long story in and of itself. I've always had a love-hate relationship with my hair because genetically I come from a family of women. We all have thin hair, and I've always been accustomed to having my hair professionally done even as a young child. But the thing was that I would get it done one day, and I'm a baby boomer. I don't have a problem with saying I am 75 and a half years old, so I've been around the block several times. But I can remember my very first hair experience was when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and of course it was Easter weekend.
We gotta get it done for Easter.
And my dad took me to the hair salon, and I thought that I was one of the first clients there. But there were so many little children there that particular Saturday. I know I must have gotten there at 8 o'clock. At 8 o'clock at night, I was still there. My hair hadn't been shampooed or pressed.
Wait, y'all went 8 o'clock in the morning, and then 8 o'clock at night, y'all was still there?
Still there. And during that time, I think
no way.
a hairdo probably cost about $1. But I do remember my daddy bringing lunch to me midday, and that was pork and beans and franks, because you know that's what you ate on a Saturday when you're growing up in the 50s and the 60s. Anyway, I have never been the kind of person who stuck to the same hairdresser. I think I may have lasted with one for about 2 years because I wanted them to perform miracles on my hair. I have the kind of hair that when the month of March rolls around and you got a lot of wind blowing, and once I would get out there in the air, my hair would be in every direction, north, south, east, and west. In fact, one of my students said to me, because I'm a retired teacher, said to me one time, "Ms. Jacobs, what do you have in your hair?" I said, "Nothing." I referred to my hair is by the song, "I fly away, oh glory, I fly away," because it never was able to stay in position. My hair has been cut. It has been colored. Everything that can possibly be done to hair has been done. And for a long time, I defined my value or my self-worth based upon what my hair looked like. So consequently, I didn't feel good about myself a lot of times. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I came upon the Sisterlocks experience while attending church, and I was seated in front of one of the members, and I looked at her hair, and I said, "What is that going on with her hair?" Because I had the braids, I had the short afro, I had it all. But what she had was so very neat. So I asked her, and she told me. She said, "These are Sisterlocks." I said, "Well, where can I get them done?" And she told me, and immediately I had a consultation with the technician, and it took about 8 hours because during that time I probably had about 1.5 inches of hair because I was wearing it in a very short afro. And so she told me yes, she could do it and what was to be expected. Well, I got it done 2 days later. And when I tell you, I thought I had a problem with my hair before. When I got the Sisterlocks, I said, "What have I done?" I look like Pick Paul Robin.
You look like what?
Like somebody, a dog that had the mange. Because all I saw was scalp. I was totally embarrassed. I had retired by then, and so I was going to different schools substituting. And I immediately put one of my tins of wigs back on my head after I got my initial installation, because I just could not fathom walking around looking like I did, because it was very unkempt. And so I had to really internalize what was going on and realize that getting Sisterlocks is a process.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey.
Yep.
Not just the outward appearance of your hair, but you really have to go deep within.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you have to exercise patience, because this is not an overnight solution.
Nope.
And bit by bit, my hair began to increase in length. And as a sidebar from this, my mom used to always tell me about my hair. I just wish that she were alive to see the growth that has taken place in my hair, because who would have thought it? I can remember her going to the hairdresser every 2 weeks, and she would pay $2 to get her hair.
Damn.
$2, and I say $2 for a specific reason, because it would take her hairdresser 2 hours to do her hair.
So she was making $1 an hour?
No more than that. And my mama's hair never ever, when I say never ever, grew. I don't know what, during that time they were giving you what was called a hard press. Miss Selena would press your hair so hard you have a headache when you came out of it.
Wait, what do you mean a hard press? Like
That
pulling it?
they would just press it 2 and 3 times.
Oh.
And they were actually burning the hair.
Uh-huh.
Because, you know, those were the combs that you put over the stove,
Mm-hmm.
and you would heat them that way.
Right.
And, I mean, my mom's hair, I just felt sorry for her. Because I said to myself, you going to the hairdresser every 2 weeks, I mean faithfully, getting your hair done, and the next day, it looked just like it did before you went. So, I mean, you know, we as black women have always had this kind of relationship with our hair.
Mm-hmm.
And consequently, you get to the point where you think, okay, it is what it is, so there's no need in me trying to expect anymore. But Sisterlocks has changed all of that. Now, when I got my locks 8 years ago, I had no idea that I would have the length that I have now. But as you can see in looking at my hair, I have length, but because I am in the aging process, the hair is getting even thinner. So I'm having to look at my hair as it gets bald. A lot of it is hereditary, but I mean, sometimes people call that gray hair wisdom locks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it comes to my hair, I mean, I've been around the block several times, but I do not regret having gotten Sisterlocks installed, because they're so very versatile. When I'm tired of looking at the bald spots around and my edges, and you know the edges come from a lot of times from having too much tension on your hair when we first started getting the synthetic braids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not going to come back.
Nope.
So I have to accept that. But
Yep.
it doesn't change who I am within.
Right.
And that's what's more important than anything else. And for anyone who's considering getting Sisterlocks, think very carefully, because it's a major investment.
Mm-hmm.
And I give
Inflation. They don't cost $1 no more.
no more. I give kudos to the locticians, because it requires a lot of physical stamina on their part. And the Sisterlock process, the arrangement of the locks, the pattern that they have to do, it requires that they be very strategic.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pay for their expertise.
Mm-hmm.
But even more important than that, if you're serious about getting them, whether you have thin hair or whether you have thick hair, you have to maintain it. You can't say I'm going to get them and just forget about them
Mm-hmm.
and have a retightening 3 and 4 months later, because all you're doing is adding more expense to the retightening process and making it longer for your technician to get it completed. So do it if you can afford it and if you like it, because you will. It's almost like we're in touch with who we are historically as a group of people. And to say that as Black women our hair won't grow, it will grow if we just leave it alone. And not try to be carbon copies of somebody that we're not. Embrace who you are as African American women, and love the skin you're in, love the hair that you've been blessed with, because you are more than what the person sees on the outside. If you get to the point wherein there are days when you don't feel so good about who you are, and heaven knows it would take another video chat for me to talk about my journey, because it has not been everything that I wanted it to be. I've experienced disappointment, I've experienced rejection, but at the same time, I have to realize that I'm still fearfully and wonderfully made. And God knew that my process of life would have these different turns. But the thing that I hold on to more than anything else is that His word that tells me, I promise never to leave or to forsake you. And that's the blessed assurance that I have in every area of my life. So I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope I've shed some light and given you some insight. But this is who I am, and this is who I am happy to be. Stay blessed.
I don't know if I have any more questions to ask, because, honey, y'all see why I be enjoying my time with her? Because she just, by the time you're done with an appointment, you feel refreshed, you're just so grateful for life. And just seeing someone who's, like she said, been around the block, it's just so much gem that I get from her every appointment. So thank you so much for sharing your lock journey, sharing the journey with hair overall. I mean, man, to think about, yeah, I don't miss the salon experience, being in there for hours, but I wasn't a salon person either. My family was blessed to know how to do hair, so we've always done each other's hair. I've been to the salon a couple of times, but I do remember in college, when I moved away from home, I had to go to the hair salon, and they would tell me 7 o'clock. I showed up, and the stylist didn't show up till 9 o'clock, and and then be there till 5. So I get it. And I'm grateful that I'm able to provide a service where it's appointment based. You come at the time of your appointment. I'm with you for an hour, 2 or 3, and then that's it. And there's no waiting for 3, 4, 5 clients to be done before you get served. And man, the cost of inflation. So what was rent back then in the houses? Do you know? Do you remember?
Well, I was never privy to how much my parents paid, but I think, if memory serves me correctly, when they bought their first house, and that was probably in 1954, 1955, my mother would always sit at the dining room table and would write out the checks for the bills. I got a feeling that their house payment was less than $100. It could have been about $40 or $50, and this was a 3-bedroom house, 1 bathroom. But when I think about those prices and things, because like I said, I'm a baby boomer. I'm the beginning of the baby booming age, and so a lot of emphasis was put on my generation, especially after World War II. That's why they call it baby boomer. But prices were very inexpensive. But I can remember when I got married in 1970, and I had $2 in my pocket, and my husband got paid I think the day after or whatever. I was stuck with $2. But I remember going to the grocery store, Piggly Wiggly, and I'm from Wilmington, North Carolina, in case anybody's looking, and say, okay, I know who she is. But I got a pack of 8 chicken wings for 52 cents. So when you think about prices, never to be seen again. So that happened. But I was saying that when I got married in 1970, didn't stay married long, never had any children, but I have been blessed with a young lady who's been in my life for 30 years now, and so she's the closest thing to a daughter. But I wish that we could take today, I wish I could take to my income today as a retired person and pay for things that the prices were in the 1970s. Never to be. My first car payment was $88. And that was a brand new Volkswagen Beetle, 1971 Volkswagen. So there are a lot of things that, as a senior citizen, I find myself wishing that I could have a do-over because of the choices I may have made, but there's no such thing as that.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing you can do, and I thought I was through talking, is to be able to reflect back on the decisions and that one has made and realize that you hold nobody else responsible but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I always would say to students, you have the freedom to make choices, but you don't choose the consequences. So in everything that you do, make sure that you are aware of the benefits and the consequences. And something that I always instilled in the young people that I taught, and it was most for middle school students, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. As simple as that. I'm done now.
Y'all, thank you so much for joining. As y'all know, at the end I will show you her hair. But this is just, I love it. I love it. I love it. This is great information and just great knowledge. I just love it, and I hope you guys enjoyed this lock talk. Please comment below if you have any questions for her. Ask, and you might never know.
I'm an open book.
She is, and she's an avid reader. She's amazing, great, just amazing overall. So thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see y'all
and wait a
next
minute,
time.
she's just being too kind.
No,
I'm just a humble being.
an amazing being.
But thank you.
An amazing being. So thank you. Y'all, I enjoy my clients. I enjoy our times together. So it's nothing but amazing. I'm always learning. No matter how much people think I know, I'm always learning. I always see myself as a student. So, but anywho, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, y'all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.